So you've played around with the large language model. You've made a raw API call, and you've gotten back something that feels, well, like pure magic. But then that next thought hits you, right? How do I actually turn this into a real production-grade application? That's the huge question we're tackling today. We're going to dive into the essential tools that bridge that gap from a cool experiment to a truly powerful AI system.
And yeah, that's the wall that pretty much every developer hits. Your LLM's kind of like this brilliant but super disorganized genius. It can spit out amazing text, sure, but it can't manage a conversation over time, it can't connect to your company's database, and it definitely can't browse the web reliably all on its own. A simple API call, that's just the very first step, not the whole journey. And this table, wow, it just lays out that gap perfectly. On the left, you've got all these real-world challenges. How do you handle really complex prompts? How do you hook up the LLM to your own private documents using what's called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG? How do you give it tools to use or a memory so it remembers your conversation? And on the right, you see the answer. Orchestration frameworks. They provide the scaffolding, the structure to solve every single one of these problems.
This entire set of challenges, well, that's what we call the LLM production gap. It's this huge chasm between a simple little proof of concept and a robust, scalable application that can handle all the messy complexities of the real world. Today, we're exploring the 3 key frameworks that were literally designed to build a bridge right over that gap.
I absolutely love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. We are moving way beyond simple question and answer bots here. We're talking about building actual systems. Systems that can reason, use tools, and carry out complex, multi-step tasks. And that's the whole point. These frameworks are what elevate an LLM from a cool toy into a real, functioning application. So who are the stars of the show? Let's meet the big 3 orchestrators that have pretty much become the go-to toolkit for anyone serious about building with LLMs.
And here they are: LangChain, LlamaIndex, and Haystack. This little table is a perfect summary of their core strengths. The way to think about it is this. LangChain is your versatile, all-purpose multi-tool. It's perfect for those complex agent workflows. LlamaIndex, it's the specialist, laser-focused on making RAG pipelines just dead simple. And Haystack? Well, it really shines when you're building robust, search-focused apps, especially for the enterprise. You see, they're not really competitors. They're more like specialized tools for very different jobs.
Okay, now that we kind of have a map of the landscape, let's pop the hood on each one. We're going to open up the toolbox and really examine what makes each of these frameworks so unique and so powerful.
First up, LangChain. If you've spent, more than 5 minutes in the LLM space, you've heard this name. It's the most established, the most general-purpose framework out there. It's famous for its incredible flexibility and this absolutely massive ecosystem of integrations. It's basically the Swiss Army knife of LLM development.
So what's its secret sauce? Well, LangChain is king when it comes to creating agents. Just think of an agent as a little autonomous program that can make decisions and use tools on its own, like searching the web or querying a database. It's all built around this idea of chains, where you link different components together. And with their newer thing, LangGraph, they're pushing the envelope on what really complex, multi-agent systems can even do.
And you can see that whole philosophy right here in the code. You don't even have to be a developer to get the idea. You define your pieces, your model, your retriever that gets the data, and then you literally chain them together into a single process. This whole component-based chain-it-all-together approach. That's classic LangChain.
All right, let's switch gears and look at our next tool. Meet LlamaIndex. While LangChain is the generalist, LlamaIndex is the absolute specialist. It was born and bred for one mission and one mission only, getting your private data into an LLM efficiently and getting intelligent answers out. It is all about RAG.
And it is a true master of its craft. LlamaIndex has these incredibly powerful and easy-to-use data loaders for pretty much any source you can think of. PDFs, Notion pages, SQL databases, you name it. Then, it helps you build really sophisticated indexes on top of that data to make finding the right info super fast and accurate. Bottom line, if your app's main job is asking questions of your documents, LlamaIndex was built for you from the ground up.
And just look at this code snippet. It shows you that brilliant simplicity in action. The whole process is so clean. Step 1, load everything in a folder. Step 2, build an index from those documents. And then you just query it. That's it. This elegance for its core job is exactly why so many developers kick off their RAG projects with LlamaIndex.
And finally, that brings us to Haystack. Now, Haystack comes from the world of enterprise search, and you can really feel that DNA in its design. It is a super robust, production-focused framework that thinks in terms of explicit, modular pipelines. It's all about combining the power of RAG with more traditional NLP and search ideas.
The key word here is pipelines. Think of a pipeline as a clearly defined, step-by-step workflow for your data. Haystack makes you be very deliberate, very explicit about how data flows through your system. And that makes your whole application way easier to visualize, to test, and to maintain, which, in an enterprise setting, is absolutely critical. Its strong connections to systems like Elasticsearch make it a natural fit for building those next-gen search platforms.
And you can see that philosophy right in the code. Unlike the others, here you explicitly create a pipeline object. Then you add a node for each step, the retriever, the LLM, whatever else you need. You define exactly how they all connect. This gives developers this amazing level of control and clarity over the entire workflow.
Okay, so we've toured the individual tools. Now for the really fun part. Let's put them side by side to really dig into the trade-offs and see where each one truly shines.
This table gives us such a great at-a-glance view. I mean, just look at the Agents and Tools row. LangChain is the undisputed king, 5 stars, no question. But then, shift your eyes down to RAG simplicity or advanced indexing, and whoa, LlamaIndex pulls way ahead. Then, for things like pipeline clarity and enterprise support, you can see Haystack makes a really strong case. See, it's not about one being better overall, it's about being the best for a specific task.
So, let's make this super actionable. This slide right here, this is your decision-making guide. Are you trying to build a complex multi-agent system that can use a bunch of tools? You start with LangChain. Do you need to get a RAG prototype working on your PDFs like this afternoon? LlamaIndex is your answer, hands down. Building a huge, scalable enterprise search platform. Haystack is your most solid foundation. Just find your goal on the left and you've got your best starting point on the right. Now, we've been comparing them this whole time, but here's the most important mental shift you have to make. The real power, the production-level power, comes when you stop thinking versus and you start thinking together. These aren't really competing products. They're components. Think of them as Lego blocks.
And this diagram shows exactly how those Lego blocks snap together in a real-world, sophisticated AI app. So a user request comes in, right? You might use a LangChain agent to decide what to do with it. If that agent realizes it needs to look something up in your company's private documents, it doesn't try to reinvent the wheel. No way! It calls a highly optimized RAG pipeline that you built with LlamaIndex or Haystack. Each framework does the one thing it's best at.
So here's the formula to remember, the production stack cheat code. In a ton of modern enterprise setups, you'll see LlamaIndex handling all the data and RAG, LangChain managing the agents and the tools, all of it sitting on top of a vector database and served up through an API. This combination gives you a complete, powerful, and most importantly, maintainable production stack. It's truly the best of all worlds. And that brings us right back to the final, most crucial takeaway. The question isn't which one of these should I learn? The real question is, which Lego block do I need for this part of my system? By understanding their unique strengths and, more importantly, how they all snap together, you move from just using an LLM to actually architecting truly intelligent systems.